In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how you can make mouse pads right from home using Sublimation. Here's just a quick overview of the materials that you're going to be needing. First things first, you will need a Sublimation printer for this. I use the Epson 2850, which is not a dedicated Sublimation printer, but all I did to convert it into one is when I bought it brand new, I added Sublimation ink instead of the ink that it comes with. Speaking of ink, you will need to purchase some Sublimation ink, as well as a special sublimation paper. Regular printer paper will not work for this. You will of course need your sublimation mouse pads as well as some heat resistant tape, and optional you can get a tape dispenser for this. Those are all the materials that you're going to need for this, and I will have the same exact ones that I'm using in this video linked in the description. Now let's move on to the tutorial, and the first thing I'm going to give you is an overview of how I set up my file, which is nothing too crazy. Basically all I'm going to do is create an 8.5 by 11 canvas, and I'm going to add in my design just slightly bigger than the size of my mouse pad. For example, I believe these mouse pads are measuring about 7 by 8 inches, give or take. I'm just gonna add it a little bit bigger than that, maybe like about an inch around each side. And that is pretty much it. All I'm doing here is sizing my design, and then I'm gonna export this as a PNG file. Now I'm going to set up my print preview, and these are my settings for sublimation. I first select my dedicated printer for this. I actually have preset settings for this, which I recommend so you don't have to be entering this every single time. And no matter what, you're always going to have to scale this to 100%. Under media type, I'm selecting photo matte paper. It's important to select the best quality so that your prints come out nice and crisp. Another super important step that you cannot skip is underneath the layout, you need to flip this horizontally. As we're going to be applying the transfer face down, it needs to be flipped horizontally, especially if you have words, or it will come out backwards. And once I've selected all those settings, I will send this to print. So now let's head over to the printer. So this is my sublimation printer. This is the Epson EcoTank ET2850, and I've converted it to a sublimation printer. And the way you're going to do that is simply adding sublimation ink instead of the ink that it comes with. And of course, you will keep feeding it sublimation ink only. So it is super simple to do. It is very, very easy. All you're going to do when you get the printer is buy a different ink, which I will have linked in the description for you guys, as well as the paper that I'm using back there, which is sublimation paper. So the only difference is you're not using the regular ink or regular paper for this. You will be using sublimation ink and sublimation paper. But if you still have questions, leave them in the comments down below and I'll be happy to answer them. And now let's go ahead and print our transfer. Alright, so our first transfer is just finished printing, and I just quickly want to show you what it looks like. And I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but this does come out very, very dull, and that is completely normal, you guys. So don't be scared if your colors don't look right. That is totally normal. Essentially what the sublimation paper is a carrier sheet for that ink. So once your ink is transferred onto whatever it is you're sublimating, it will look vibrant and the colors will be right. I'm going to print 2 more transfers to show you guys some different color profile with sublimation ink, so you can kind of see what kind of colors you can print with this and like some of the differences in colors and all that. So let's do 2 more transfers and then we will start pressing these. Okay, and here's the second transfer, and again you can see that the green is almost non-existent. So this background color here is actually like a very, not bright, but like a very obvious mint green, and here you cannot tell whatsoever. That's completely normal. Again, the oranges look dull, the black looks dull, completely normal, you guys. Once the printing is done, what I recommend doing is preheating your heat press. You can press mouse pads with an auto press or a manual press, either one will work. So I'm going to turn mine on, and I'm going to set this to 365 degrees. We're going to change the time to 50 seconds. So that's going to preheat, and while we do this, I'm going to start taping my mouse pads to the transfers. So we have the transfers ready here. You're going to need some mouse pads, of course, and you will need some heat resistant tape, preferably a dispenser, because this tape is really annoying to cut. I wouldn't recommend using this without a dispenser. So I will have the mouse pads, the tape linked in the description for you guys, as well as the paper. All the materials you see here will be linked in the description. You can cut off the excess if you want. I don't find that it's necessary because we are only going to be able to press 1 mouse pad at a time unless you have a bigger heat press. I'm using a 15 by 15. If you want to be extra safe, you can take a lint roller to roll anything on here. I don't see anything, but you want to make sure that nothing is touching the thing that you're going to be sublimating on, because any lint or any like little bump here or there will ruin the design. So just make sure that it's absolutely clear. And I'm going to center that on my design. You don't need tape, like it's not 100% necessary. You could just place the transfer on top of the mouse pad when you're gonna press, but I find that sometimes that can cause it to move and off center the design. So to be safe, I'm going to tape it down. So I'm just going to it's gonna kind of be hard to tell, but what I'm going to do is place it first on my mouse pad, and then I'm gonna flatten down the edge of my mouse pad. Instead of just taping it over, I find that it creates a pocket and that can cause the paper to bubble up. So to prevent that, I'm flattening down the edge before I place it on the paper. So I'll show you again how I do it. I'm gonna place it on the mouse pad. I'm going to flatten the edge first and then smooth it on the paper. And that's it, you guys. This is now ready to press. So I'm gonna do the same thing to my other ones here. We've gotten our mouse pads ready, and now let's go press them. And I quickly want to show you that this will happen, you guys. Your sublimation ink will bleed on any padded surface. So to prevent this, what you can do is add some parchment paper to catch any bleeding, like you can see here. And this is just any parchment paper. I got this from Target. It could be literally any brand. It doesn't matter as long as it's parchment paper. So we're going to place our first transfer on here. Now what I like to do is smooth it out with my hand, again, to prevent any bubbles or anything from rising up. And I just like to make sure that it's nice and flat, just like this. And now we're going to slide that in and press it. So it's done pressing now. Let's pull this out and take off the paper. You can see that it does leave some ink residue. That's normal. And here is what the mouse pad looks like. You can see that the mouse pad took in all of those colors and it looks super vibrant on here. And I just want to give you a feel of all the different colors that you can do with sublimation and how it'll look. So this one has more pinks, some oranges, some browns, some fall colors. Let's go ahead and press that so you can see. This one has more browns, some corals and things like that. And just be careful, you guys. This is steaming hot, but I'm using my nails to hold it up, so just don't burn yourself. Be careful. It is going to be really hot. And just a fair warning, these mouse pads do let off like a little bit of a chemical scent. It's normal because the back is like a rubbery texture, so it does release a little bit of a scent, just to give you guys a heads up. So you can see that the colors are really vibrant. And now let's move on to the last mouse pad and flatten that out and press. So this is the last and final design. And you can always play with your printer color settings to find your desired color profile, but this is just with printing the PNG. I didn't export as a PDF print file or put CMYK, RGB, anything like that. This is just a PNG file and it comes out really well, as you can see. That is how easy it is to sublimate mouse pads from home. It is super simple. All you need is the right tools, and in minutes you can have custom mouse pads right from home. This is also a really great business to start, and it's on the more budget friendly and affordable side. All in all, with the materials that you need, it will be probably around $350, give or take. So that's really not that bad if you're wanting to start a business. And yeah, you get some super pretty vibrant colors, and you can put any design that you want on it. You can offer custom designs or your very own designs. And in case you're wondering how to get the designs or how to create your very own designs, I actually have so many different tutorials across my channel using Picsart to design so many different things. And don't worry if you've never done graphic design or if you're a beginner, all of my tutorials are very simple and easy to follow and definitely beginner friendly. Picsart is a really great designing software that is super easy to navigate. And there are so many different things you can design on here, and it's not just limited to products. For example, you can do all different things: packaging, product pictures, anything for your website that you need to design. You can even create your very own logo from scratch, which I have a video on as well. Plus, Picsart has so many different helpful tools for you to use. It's a great place to start designing your products, whether that's mouse pads, coasters, cups, t-shirt design. I even just posted a video showing how to design notepads. So check out my channel for all different types of designing tutorials, and if you want to try out Picsart today for free, I will have that linked in the description for you guys. But there you go, you guys. I hope you liked this tutorial, and if there's anything that I didn't answer or if you still have some questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video, and I will see you in the next one.